A rare mix of youth, charisma, and talent, Jeff Gordon took the NASCAR Premier Series by storm with his arrival in the 90s. In 1994, his first career win in the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte helped set the stage for one of the most electrifying triumphs in NASCAR history at the inaugural Brickyard 400 later that year.
We'll remember the name, Jeff Gordon, winner of the inaugural Brickyard 400.
In the 4-year span from 1995 to 1998, Gordon won 3 Premier Series titles and 40 races, including a modern-era record-tying 13 in 1998. He won his 4th championship in 2001 and is one of only 4 drivers in NASCAR history to have captured 4 or more titles. Jeff had 4 consecutive wins in the Southern 500 from 1995 to 1998, including the Winston Million in 1997. 5 wins in the Brickyard 400 leads all drivers. Jeff is the Premier Series all-time leader in road course wins with 9, 4 at Watkins Glen and 5 at Sonoma. This 3-time winner of the Daytona 500 was also a short track master. Gordon won 9 times at Martinsville, 5 times at Bristol, twice at Richmond, and the final race held at North Wilkesboro in 1996. 93 total career wins, stands 3rd on the list of NASCAR's all-time winners in the Premier Series. At his retirement, Gordon set NASCAR's Ironman record with 797 consecutive starts, never missing a race from November 1992 through November 2015. Gordon took NASCAR mainstream and continues his influence in the media as an analyst for NASCAR on Fox Broadcasts.
The championship goes to Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon has just become the youngest man ever to win the Daytona 500 at 25 years of age.
Here he goes. Look here. Oh, they make contact.
But Jeff Gordon wins it.
NASCAR's greatest period of growth coincided perfectly with the rise of Jeff Gordon. Larger venues, higher TV ratings, booming souvenir sales. All that happened when Jeff Gordon happened. How to talk, how to act, how to look, how to dress, how to be marketed. Gordon led. Everyone else followed.
Welcome back to NASCAR Race Up. Today, the show taking place at Hendrick Motorsports as we honor Jeff Gordon, who has found out in 2019 he will go into the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
And he's had such an impact during his time as both a racer and now a broadcaster. So many people wanted to be part of this program to give their thoughts and their love to Jeff on this huge accomplishment. So here they are.
It's been a privilege and an honor to do play-by-play of what will become a Hall of Fame driver, a driver that has exhibited class and grace, and there is no doubt Jeff Gordon will be missed, and we are all better fans, announcers, and participants in this sport for what he has done on the track and off.
Just tenacious. Jeff Gordon changed the sport of NASCAR completely. Before Jeff Gordon, the race teams did not want a young driver. They wanted drivers in their late 30s or early 40s that had lots of experience. I think everyone in the sport started looking for the next young Jeff Gordon.
Just successful. No matter what Jeff drove, and I got to see him when he raced an open wheel before he got his chance to go to NASCAR, but everything he did, he was successful at it, and there's really no better way to describe Jeff Gordon than that.
In the time in which he ran in the sport, he elevated our sport to such a level by going on different talk shows and doing different things outside of just the racetrack and outside of racing that really created us to a new level.
This guy could do things in a race car that I had never seen done before. I mean, there's not a lot of guys that come into the NASCAR Cup Series and can have that level of success for that many years consistently. And that's what Jeff was able to do. He was able to win races early on in his career, and he won races at the end of his career. There's not a lot of guys that can say they went out like that.
If it weren't for Jeff Gordon, guys like myself, Jason Leffler, J.J. Yaley, Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, a whole laundry list of us would never have had the opportunity to race in NASCAR. And I guess it went back to Kenny Schrader, who was the first open wheel guy, but when Jeff Gordon came on board and had the success at Hendrick Motorsports, Jeff really knocked those doors down and gave guys like myself a really solid opportunity to race in NASCAR.
Talking to Mr. Hendrick when he was talking about hiring him, he said, what do you think about Jeff? I said, I raced with him before, and I think he'll do a real good job. He said, you really feel good about it? I said, oh yeah. Besides that, the ladies that hang around our haulers will be a lot younger then. First year, basically they had a rollback follow him around because he tore up a lot of stuff. He going really fast when he tore it up, but he tore up a lot of stuff. Second year they won the race, and third year he had it figured out, and then he just kept going.
Here's Jeff Gordon off corner number 4. Looks at the checkered flag, takes the checkered flag, and wins the Noble $5 million. It's his 10th win of 1998, his 4th consecutive in the Southern 500.
When you think about Jeff Gordon, you think about somebody who's truly a legend and somebody who kind of broke the mold for NASCAR drivers.
He made team owners look at young drivers. He made the sport more professional to outside entities, to corporate sponsors, to fans. And beyond that, he won a lot of races and a lot of championships.
Just a lot of success in NASCAR. When I think of Jeff, I think of that, but then also I think of his background of how he got started, because I pretty much followed, in a way, his same path to Cup. He came from, the same background that I grew up in. He won a lot of races throughout all of his years of racing. There's really not much, on track that doesn't say, he's one of the best.
The biggest thing that I took away from Jeff Gordon's legacy, and it's still growing today, is how he's impacted the media and took us from a Southern sport to the mainstream.
For me, he's been a good friend to me. He's been a good mentor. When he stepped out, I stepped in, so it was a big transition for me, and he was one of the first guys there to help me along with that.
When I think of Jeff Gordon and making it to the Hall of Fame, there's no doubt that with the championships and the wins, what he did for the sport for so many years, he's an icon. On track, he's amazing, fast, off track. Greatest guy.
I've had so many great memories, such a great opportunity to drive his race cars. I used to sit with my dad and my grandfather and watch Jeff Gordon race in Thursday Night Thunder while I was sitting in El Cajon. So I've been a Jeff Gordon fan all along, and to have the friendship, the relationship, the opportunity to drive for him, this has been a great experience. The purpose of any sports Hall of Fame is to separate an elite few from a cast of thousands. These are the ones we choose to remember. It's every sport's ultimate honor. So then what do we say about those who exceed the ultimate? Win 30 races, and you'll probably make the Hall. Jeff Gordon won 93.
This is the greatest day of my life.
Win a championship, automatic consideration. Jeff Gordon won 4. Emerge at a young age.
There's Jeff Gordon, victorious.
Reach stardom almost overnight.
Jeff Gordon wins the inaugural Brickyard 400.
Superstardom shortly after.
Wonderful is here.
Become the face of the sport. Take it to unprecedented heights. If you do any single one of those things, you're a Hall of Famer. But Jeff Gordon, he did all of those things.
Jeff Gordon's going to win his 3rd Daytona 500. It is Jeff Gordon's 7th Darlington victory.
There's a certain charisma required for that, isn't there? Richard Petty had it. So did Earnhardt.
Tonight, Gordon ties Earnhardt for career wins.
Jeff Gordon was the guy who made those who never noticed take notice. That's what people mean when they use the word transcendent. Jeff Gordon made our sport matter to a larger world. And for that, the term Hall of Famer just isn't big enough.
It's so incredible to sit here with you and watch those highlights, because I know you had mentioned that that's what gets you the most is watching some of the old highlights. What do you think when you see that and you hear Jimmy's words?
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I have my mom and dad here that got me into racing. And, you know, to me, I look back at my career, and if I had to pinpoint one thing, it was timing. For me, you know, when I got into quarter midget racing, when I maybe raced on ESPN Thursday Night Thunder, that sort of elevated up my name into the racing world. When I first came to North Carolina and met Hugh Connerty or Ray Evernham or, you know, Bill Davis, and then of course Rick Hendrick. I mean, the timing of all those things and how they happened and what that did to get myself in the position to win so many races. And I excelled at the highest level. I won races prior to getting into NASCAR, but I won the most and the most consistent, and I had the best team of people around me at the highest level. And that you gotta, it's a lot more than just talent. That's gotta be, you know, a lot of luck and a lot of great timing.
How has your NASCAR career and all the success that you had over the years shaped who you are as a person today?
Oh yeah, everything I know in my whole life is I've learned through racing, whether it be business, whether it be how to be a better friend, a husband, a father. Racing, the discipline that it takes to be good at racing, and how you have to work with one another. The adversity you have to overcome, the obstacles, the good days, the bad days, all those things, they all relate to life in general. And I'm the person that I am today because racing really either taught me something that led me to take that experience off track, or it somehow kind of molded me into the person that I am.
When you're on the track every single week racing with the competitors, you know, we're always just looking ahead to the next race. Now that you've been out of that car and you've been able to kind of look down on it, do you recognize the impact that you've had on this sport? Do you see it through the eyes of the other competitors?
I mean, I lived through it, so I know that the time that I came into the sport was thriving, and all of a sudden a new, young, different face came along from California via Indiana and open wheel racing. Like I said, the time was right. Because maybe I wasn't fully accepted when I came in, but it didn't take long for fans and competitors to start embracing that and be open to it. Of course, we started going to Indianapolis and Texas and Southern California and the Northeast, Midwest, and so I feel like a lot of amazing things lined up at the right time. And because of that, I was one of many at that time that I feel like contributed to the growth of NASCAR.
What's your greatest memory in a race car, Jeff?
My standard answer, because I get asked this, is always the inaugural Brickyard 400. But I got to say, that final race at Martinsville, to win that race, what that meant to go to Homestead and battle for a championship in my final race. And of course, Ingrid and the kids were there. That was, nothing can top that.
Hey, Jeff, it's Steve. First, congratulations. Much like Krista said, so deserving. I couldn't be happy for you, buddy. I want to know, for me, watching Rick go in a couple years ago, Ray last year, the Hall really just became something special to me. Now watching you go in is going to be even one step above that. Have you spoken the last year or so, knowing you were going to be eligible, to Rick or Ray about what this Hall has meant to them?
I agree with you, Steve. The significance of being there and seeing Rick get inducted, and then last year being a part of with Ray, that's where it really started to sink into me of how special it would be. Because by talking to them, both of them really, they've dedicated, committed their whole lives, and that's the thing I see as a common thread of anybody that goes in the Hall of Fame. They sacrificed everything for racing and for NASCAR, and it became their life, and to be honored by going into the Hall of Fame, it makes it all worthwhile and makes it very, very special. So that's what's making it even more special for me today.